How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? It's Spooky Gaming Rocks here, and welcome back to another video here on my channel. So, ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to be talking to you guys about what most YouTubers don't. Most YouTubers generally, when they talk about their setups and how they make their videos, they don't actually give you guys the exact programs that they use. Usually, they'll give you the specs of their computer, the specs of their monitors, the specs of their equipment, but like I said, not the exact specs of the softwares that they use. Unless they're like a tutorial channel and showing you something specifically on Photoshop, you don't know exactly what they use. So let me get started on what I used to start YouTube, and then we're going to talk about what I use now. As scary as it sounds, to start YouTube, I actually used a program called Ezvid. Ezvid was a very simple program. It did have a watermark, but starting out YouTube, I didn't really care that it had a watermark. I was more along the lines of making the videos because they were fun. Now, today I still make the videos because they're fun, and I love making videos for you guys, and you guys always give a lot of feedback, but back then, it was all because it was fun. Now, today, it is still because it's fun, but also it's because I'm informing you guys. Like this video, for example, is informing. Back then, it was only gaming, it was only Minecraft. Now, for me, at least, it's like everything. I do everything. I do these types of videos, I'm going to be doing tutorials, stuff like that. So, back to the Ezvid story. So, I used Ezvid to start it off. It's a free program. From my knowledge, it's still free today, and it's very, very simple to use. You could also probably get away with using Windows Movie Maker for editing at that point in the game because you're just starting out, but you don't have a recorder. At least with Ezvid, you have a recorder. Again, although it's watermarked, you still have a recorder. Now, moving up the lines, you could start using Camtasia Studio, which is actually a very cheap version of a paid-for program. Now, Camtasia Studio does come with a recorder, so pretty much you're paying for the software and part of the recorder, because the recorder, if you guys want to use Fraps, it costs money. I'm just putting that out there. If you want to use Fraps and you're not going to use a trial version, and if you're not going to use a Bandicam trial version, which both of them have watermarks, you're going to end up, having to pay for something. So you're using Camtasia Studio, which, like I just said, you have to pay for. Pretty much simple editing style. You can zoom in, you can add things on top of it, you can throw overlays on stuff, you can layer stuff, so you can have like my face, and then next to me you can have like a hit the like button or something, or a subscribe, or a censor bar on my mouth, because we decided to put a censor bar on my mouth for this video. Then moving up along the lines, you can start using Adobe Premiere, which is actually an industry standard software. Let me just say, if you guys are a little bit more on the less spending side, or the I hate Adobe products side, you guys could also alternatively use Sony Vegas Pro. Now, I don't really recommend Sony Vegas Pro just because I'm not a big fan of it. When I went from Camtasia to Adobe Premiere to Sony Vegas, all three of them are different programs. All their editing styles are different. Their controls, they're different. So I personally did not like it. I use Adobe Premiere to this day, but when I went from, like I said, Camtasia to Adobe to Sony to Adobe, it just didn't work out right. Videos weren't rendering correctly. For Adobe Premiere or Sony Vegas Pro, you need to know what you're doing when you're editing, because their render, it's not like you have, you do have presets, but you don't have the greatest presets. Now, for recording purposes, for these types of videos, I use a Canon PowerShot, which is a very, very simple camera. I don't know the exact price that this camera would have costed when you first came out. I don't know the exact price of it right now. I kind of just remembered that my mom had it, and I decided to take it because she let me have it, so I can do videos like this. I also use Fraps for recording gameplay, as well as in dire emergency or console recording purposes. I do have an Elgato Game Capture. I don't have the HD60, which came out, but I do have one of the older versions, which came out like a year and a half, 2 years, or, excuse me, it was out a year and a half, 2 years before the HD60, at least when I got it. I don't know when it actually came out. I have a very cheap $10 tripod that I'm using right now to record, and it's been doing very, very well. I've been pushing it to the limits. I put I'm using the Canon, which is probably the heaviest thing that's been on there so far, but I've put my phone on there too. For recording my audio, what do I use? I use this little Disney mic that's behind me. You guys might not be able to see it from this view, but it's a Disney Interactive Studios Logitech mic. It is much better than my headset mic that came with my Skullcandy, and it's just beautiful. Now, that's not what I'm using to record right now. What I'm using right now is actual Apple headphones. What I did was, since I got a new phone, I got my old pair of I can't speak today. I got my old pair of Apple earbuds, and I pretty much just taped them in a way so that they look like a clip-on microphone, and that's what I've been doing to this day. Most tutorials, let me just say this right now, if you guys go and search up how to make a clip-on mic with earbuds, Most tutorials would tell you to cut off the ends of them or buy a cheap kind and cut off the ends. One, the cheap kinds don't give you the great audio that an Apple set will give you, because an Apple set is actually built. You know, it's not a $5 product, it's like a $30 to $50 product. So it gives off great quality. But unless your headphones are physically broken, you cannot hear out of both ears, or at least one ear, do not cut them off. So if you cut them off and your other ones break, well then you don't have an extra pair of headphones. At least if you tape them and they're not broken, you could still use them in the future. And then those plug into my iPhone 6s, which I use voice memos to record with. It's a great way to do it, especially since this camera picks up a lot of background noise. This microphone does not pick up a lot of background noise, and I think that's how the Apple earbuds were made, so that like when you're walking and you're on the phone, really unless there's a lot of wind, you don't really hear it, which I've noticed in the past with Apple headphones. Computer specs will be down below, but I do use a nice computer for rendering and obviously all that. Now, when I started YouTube, I used like a $400 laptop, guys. No joke, a $400 laptop. Now I use a $1,300 gaming computer. You guys can see how when you start, things are small, and when you grow, things are bigger. I have 3 monitors. The main monitor behind me, this very first one right there, is my main monitor because it has the best colors, it has the best refresh rate, and it's just great for gaming in general. I don't game across all 3. One is actually used for Skype, one is used for holding video scripts and stuff, which I don't generally use. Like, this video might sound scripted, but it's not scripted at all. Now, I already told you guys I use Adobe Premiere to edit. Now, what else do I use? I use Photoshop for thumbnails, and I use After Effects for certain things. For example, my PC part list, my Skyblock challenges, all that stuff is done in After Effects. I also use an Xbox One controller when playing games like GTA 5 and stuff like that. Now, I hope this video was very helpful. Do not forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. And if you guys are interested in seeing more videos like this, or even in real life vlog type videos, let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, have a nice day.